Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Here's some really bad news. Israel could soon be facing a major new threat from another country, this time Jordan. The Muslim Brotherhood is gaining power there, and people in the streets are chanting, "Death to Israel."
Meanwhile, Israel is defeating Hamas in Gaza and planning possible military action against Hezbollah in the north. Julie Stahl brings us the story from Jerusalem.
The Israel Defense Forces say they have dismantled Hamas's Rafah brigade, eliminating more than 2,200 terrorists and destroying 8 miles of terror tunnels. Some 80% of the underground tunnel network beneath the strategic area known as the Philadelphia Corridor. This allows the IDF easier access to destroy the many tunnels around Rafah that link Gaza and Egypt. Hamas used those tunnels to smuggle huge amounts of weapons into Gaza. With Israel increasingly gaining the upper hand over Hamas in the south, the IDF is looking north to potentially launch a major ground operation against Hezbollah.
The center of gravity is moving to the north. We are nearing the completion of our tasks in the south.
Hezbollah showed that it's still a threat this week, hitting Israel with 100 rockets Wednesday and 60 more Thursday. Striking back, Israel is already targeting areas in Lebanon and Syria to weaken the terrorist group before possibly launching an all-out war to stop Hezbollah's daily attacks and let some 60,000 Israelis return home. Israel's defense chief this week visited the troops who would likely take part in a ground invasion.
And this thing is a ready arrow, ready for action. We will know when to activate it.
And Israel apparently scored a victory against Hezbollah and Iran earlier this week when it reportedly took out an underground Iranian missile factory in Syria. Trouble could also be brewing on another border as Islamists just scored big wins in Jordan's latest elections. Palestinians make up at least half of the population in that country, where the political arm of the Muslim Brotherhood won 32 of 138 seats in Jordan's House of Representatives, garnering 500,000 votes. Observers warn it's a victory for the Brotherhood, the radical Islamic group that gave birth to Hamas. Many Jordanians have already been radicalized, chanting in the streets, "All Jordanians belong to Hamas," and "Death to Israel." This Islamist praised his son for murdering 3 Israelis at the Allenby Bridge crossing between Jordan and Israel on Sunday.
I'm honored and proud that I've raised a hero who carried out a martyrdom operation in defense of Islam and Arabism.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week visited the long border his nation shares with Jordan, making certain his forces are ready to handle any threats there.
It is important for us to ensure that this border remains a border of peace and security.
Some experts say Iran is pushing for the overthrow of the King of Jordan. If radical Islamists ever gain control of that country, it could pose one of the biggest and nearest dangers to Israel. Netanyahu warned the challenges along the border have already been growing.
There is an attempt to smuggle both terrorists and weapons across from Jordan into Judea and Samaria and into the cities of Israel.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
This is a very concerning development for me because I know the history here. You go all the way back to 1948. The King of Jordan was assassinated on the Temple Mount at the Al-Aqsa Mosque by radical Muslims who said, you've lost your life because you have made peace with Israel. You move forward to 1972, the PLO is taking refuge in Jordan, and they try to overthrow the King of Jordan and create an Islamic state. And they get assistance from Syria. That was thwarted primarily because the U.S. intervened and F-15s flew over the Syrian tanks as they were nearing the Jordanian border. That was stopped, and then those same radicals were expelled from Jordan. And where did they go? They went to southern Lebanon and turned into Hezbollah. So here we are with the Muslim Brotherhood, the very people who assassinated Anwar Sadat after he came to peace with Israel and signed a peace agreement between Egypt and Israel, called the Camp David Accords. So you look at the roots of this group, and we have to pray. This is absolutely concerning, unbelievably concerning news. That if Jordan becomes a radical state, that is dangerous for the entire region, not just Israel, but the entire region. If the Muslim Brotherhood takes control, it's bad news for everyone, and whether it's Syria or Egypt, all the surrounding nations. Keep in mind, Egypt has declared the Muslim Brotherhood to be illegal, and they put their leadership into jail. So if fellow Muslims say, you're too radical for us, just imagine if they gain power in Jordan.